Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to take a quick moment and show you a pretty cool knife. This is from Heretic, and I had very little experience with Heretic, although I've had a lot of Microtechs over the years. Heretic, from what I can tell, is kind of an offshoot of Microtech. I believe one of the sons of the Marfioni family decided to go and branch out and do their own thing, and so they started Heretic Knives a little while ago. And it's a pretty interesting knife. So this is a Manticore X. So their whole shtick is they have everything's named after, like, you know, cool mythical beasts. So they got the Hydra, the Manticore. I think I was looking at one the other day. It was called a Medusa. Cool stuff, right? And I kind of really like the Manticore series. These are very akin to Microtech Ultratechs. Although the Manticore X is kind of like the size of a combat Trudon. So if you're familiar with Microtech knives, this is going to be that larger size, almost a 4-inch knife. So here's the blade. And this one here is actually a semi-custom, I'd say. So it's got a hand ground blade, but a fairly standard looking chassis. And you can see this is DLC coated, really nice looking. Hand ground stonewash finish with a DLC over top of it. Not super fancy, but fancy enough. I mean, it looks really good. And the slider on this is made out of carbon fiber. Titanium for the screws and the pocket clip. Little carbide ball there, kind of like the way you see some of Todd Begg's pocket clips. Looks really good. And of course, you can see on the side it's engraved, laser engraved Heretic Knives, Manticore X. Mine is 004, so it's a good double lot. Really nice action on it. Super fast. It's every bit as good as a Microtech. I would imagine if you took this thing apart, you're going to see a lot of, let's just say, Microtech-esque technology going on here. Probably got a similar slider and spring mechanism that's going on inside this. Really nice snappy action, though. I mean, it's got some weight to it. That blade is not super light, and when it comes out with authority. Really nice. It does really well. Carbon fiber for the slider is really nice. Let me see if I can get this to focus a little bit closer. And you can see that little bit of sheen there with the carbon fiber layers and everything. It's very nicely machined. A few pits, but not too bad. Nothing more than what you would expect. In the pocket, goes right in and comes right out. Really super easy. Got a little lanyard hole here in the back. And no issues with the tip of the blade. You can kind of nick your finger if you run that over, if you're not careful, because your finger can kind of go down into that little slot, but overall not too bad. Not really a danger or anything like that. Really nice. This was one of those few knives that I have actually gotten on a good deal at Arizona Custom Knives. AZCK, if you guys don't know, contrary to their names in Florida, I think they started out in Arizona. But they're a consignment shop, and you can find good, like new, used knives there all the time. And most of the time, they're radically overpriced. Part of the reason for that is AZCK takes 25% of everything that gets sold there. So if you see a knife go for $2,000, they're going to take $500 off the top. And so a lot of people, they kind of price for, well, I want to get $1,500, so I know I have to price at $2,000 to get what I want out of the deal, right? So you see a lot of knives come up on AZCK for what I would consider to be radically inflated values. I found this guy on their website at a very reasonable price. I think I paid maybe about $400 for it, maybe $450. And these, when they came out, were, I want to say, about $690, so closer to $700. It's a lot of money for a knife, a lot of money. But at $450, I mean, really a fantastic deal, especially with that blade. This thing is sick. and it's hand ground, so really nice. Good sharp edge on it too. One of the things I have kind of liked about this Manticore is the edge on it is considerably better than most Microtechs that I've had. I like Microtech knives. I own a few of them, and I really like them. I enjoy them a lot. I think they're out the fronts are second to none, with the possible exception of Heretic. I think they're doing a really, really good job. But the edge that you will get on a factory Microtech is usually a little lacking. They don't do a super great job at that. And to be completely honest with you, I think Manticore does, or Heretic does a slightly better job, at least with this sample size of one. Really nice. Would I say it's worth it? Yeah, it definitely at $450, really worth it, completely worth it. At $700, it's a little bit tougher of a sell, but I think compared to the custom Microtechs that you'll find out there, especially with the hand ground blade, I'd say it's probably a pretty good value for your money compared to the custom Microtech stuff. At $1,000, we start to really kind of get, a little bit extended, I think, in terms of what this is. It's ultimately a aluminum chassis. Yeah, it's got some titanium bits on it. Yeah, it's got that hand ground blade, and yeah, it's got DLC, but at the end of the day, I think it's starting to kind of be a little too expensive once these kind of start to appreciate a little bit. But then again, inflation is wrecking everything. So, you kind of got to expect that these are going to go up a little bit in value to kind of keep pace with that. For those of you guys who don't know, who are maybe newer to custom knives and semi-custom and custom knives typically hold their value, especially against inflation. And typically over time, because they're collectible, they tend to go up in price. And so it's not unusual to find older custom knives that have appreciated, and they do go up in value. That's because they are harder to get and harder to get over time. And so it's pretty common to find that kind of stuff. And these are going to be about the same. Limited production or semi-custom knives like this, or stuff that has been custom made or done with a custom blade like that, are going to go up in value over time. And that's just one of the reasons why you would want to own something like this. It's a bit like owning gold, or specifically collectible gold coins. Gold has a spot price, right? It's set by the market, the COMEX or whatever. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the price of a gold coin sometimes has more to do with the stuff that's minted onto the coin. A American gold buffalo is going to be more expensive than a gold bullion bar. And so, that's the same kind of deal with this stuff. This is going to go up in value over time. And I think they've done a tremendous job. They've done a really nice job at making a very nice knife. And, it's every bit as good as the best Microtechs that are out there. Heretic, I would say, if you're looking for an out the front and you don't want to pay the outrageous prices that Microtech is charging these days, really look at Heretic. They make a really, really nice out the front. I've not had any experience with their side opening autos or their manual knives, which I'm really looking forward to checking out in the new year. But at the end of the day, I've been kind of a little bit disappointed with how expensive Microtech knives have gotten over the last couple of years. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Microtech Ultratechs are $400 or $500 sometimes, especially the ones that are like the signature series, which used to be much, much more special than it is now. And it seems like every time I'm looking around, they've got a new signature series Microtech knife, and that doesn't really mean as much now as it used to in the past. And so, what you ultimately have is a factory production Ultratech selling at $400 to $500. That's a lot of money. And when you compare it to some of the offerings coming out of Heretic, I mean, these guys haven't been jacking their prices up. The other thing they haven't been doing is sending their jobs overseas. That's a whole nother can of worms. And I know that the Microtech, the anti-Microtech guys are really upset about the fact that Microtech's doing stuff with Reich. But, at the end of the day, I understand why they're doing it. That said, Heretic has been an all-American shop, a U.S.-only shop, and I commend them for that, for staying true to making stuff in the United States. During a period like this with massive inflation, high costs of doing business, I mean, it really is impressive and definitely commendable. So Really nice. And I mean, I really like the design. I think it's very pretty. I think that, you know, as an out the front goes, it's a super cool looking knife. I love the black with the black on the blue and everything. I like blue. I think it's one of my favorite colors. I mean, I like a little bit of blue accenting and stuff. You can see my watch band and everything. It's a cool look, man. And I think it's really slick. So good job, Heretic. You guys have gone and knocked it out of the park. Really, really great. That's the Manticore X. Hopefully I'll have some more Heretics at some point to show you guys. If you like the content, please do subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all later.